What's happening, people? How are you doing? Um, I made a video earlier on today about Amazon's Rings of Power episode 1 and 2, and I said right at the beginning of the video, I'd actually tried recording it 4 or 5 times or whatever, various reasons. I had to keep restarting it, and then I did my final one, uploaded it, and then watching it back a couple hours later, I was so tired. And I looked at the video. I thought that was awful. I was just so tired and not had much sleep all week. So I thought I'd quickly make another review. Still fresh in my head, just how bad it was. Bad, awful. You know, the casting, whoever did the casting, none of the characters were likable, interesting, or anything like that. You know, just the woke nonsense that they were so proud of, and modern day sensibilities and diversity quotas and all that stuff. Just so in the face and obvious, and really ruined it. I know Tolkien fans, Tolkien scholars, Tolkien experts, all that lot were all up in arms about how they're changing the law and this and that, and you know, making up new characters while other so-called characters they were sidelining, turning Galadriel, the girl boss. I don't know why. They'll start every time they're talking around her. They sort of go into some sort of Shakespearean mode. I don't know. It sounds weird. I've heard she's actually a good actor, and I've heard other people say she's actually quite attractive. But in this, I didn't find her attractive, and I don't find her acting. It's not her fault. She's working with what she got, But to be honest, I couldn't wait till she had finished saying what she got to say and wasn't on the screen. You know, um, totally contrived nonsense. You know, all the men in it seem to be relegated to flipping simps or kooks or whatever the terminology is for the soy-based beta males that like these warrior owls seem to be these days. Um, Now, and the amount of money, the CGI, and they said they wanted to use a lot of practical effect. And to be honest, a lot of it looked absolutely shit. Like, really shit. Like, yeah, not impressed at all. It stood out like a flipping sore thumb. Like, big angry sore thumb. You know what I'm saying? And, it was just boring. And the Harfoots that they had shoehorned in there, I mean, what their purpose were, they just looked like a bunch of peasants from the Dark Ages, you know. I don't know what their business were. They were obviously all inbred, that much was clear. All inbred, you could imagine them being on Jeremy Kyle. All bickering over some nonsensical, stupid family feud that started over, somebody's tomato patch or something. I don't know. Well, what the hell they're doing there, and, you know, uh, yeah, MacGuffins all over the place, and, obviously, you get your normal dose of member berries and your Easter eggs and all that nonsense that I've said before. I don't like fan service. I don't understand it. Why do you call it fan service? I don't know. You know, I made a video about this. Fan service means giving the fans what they want, something good, and instead it was like, you know, if it didn't have Lord of the Rings attached to it, and um, and they keep bringing up Peter Jackson's name and comparing it to it, and it has nothing to do with Peter Jackson's trilogy. I don't know why they keep bringing him up, you know, and Tolkien, and because it's nothing. You know, and I admit I am not the biggest Lord of the Rings fan. I like the animated, um, little animated film they did. Watching that when I was a child, you know, I was quite disappointed that they didn't finish it. I think it ends where the Two Towers begins, like, and they bump into Gollum. Like, yeah, I would have liked them to, you know, made finish that. Like, yeah, The Hobbit. I've said before, first book as an adult I ever read, followed by The Lord of the Rings. I've said, you know, I've been into fantasy for a long time, science fiction, science fantasy, and in this show, I said, you know, I'm going to go into it unbiased and take it for what it's worth, and you know, as far as fantasy is concerned, it was a crap show. If I wasn't going to review it, episode 1 was a chore to get through. It really was. I actually 25 minutes in stopped and made a quick video just saying, like, oh, so far it's boring, you know. And I was glad by the time I got to the end, and by the time I got to the end, I thought, I'm not fucking watching episode 2 now. You know, there's going to be plenty of YouTubers out there that are all going to have to watch it and quickly get their videos uploaded, like, and either, you know, shill it out and say how good it is, or slate it for how crap they think it is. Like, me, I was like, I've got better things to do, actually. But then, yeah, I had some spare time on my hands, so I watched episode 2. I had to keep stopping it at certain points because I needed to do things like go to the toilet, or one of the kids was shouting me for something, or oh, I wanted to go to the shop or whatever, because it was that boring and crap. You know, I just wasn't invested. I was just thinking, this is a real, you know, it's really bad fantasy. Um, yeah, I compare it to, like, is it the Shannara Chronicles? And that show actually had me sort of interested and invested, you know. Uh, but this was just like utter in your face intersectional feminism, woke, diversity, agenda driven. You know, the acting was bad. I'd say the music was about the best thing about it. The CGI was terrible, and some of the practical effects were terrible. You know, I'm gonna watch these episode 3. Because really, by now, you know, 2 hours in, something big and bad or big and good should happen. And if it doesn't, then then I won't watch anymore. I won't say it like I did with Picard. Season 2, it got to the point where it was like, fucking, I'm just watching it and being disappointed, and I'm wasting my time. I've got better things to do, like, you know, sit and talk to my daughter-in-law or whatever, you know. Play school teachers, whatever, you know, help whoever in work or something, I don't know. Go and sit in the garden and have a can of beer or something. Yeah, so as far as comparing it to Lord of the Rings, there is no comparison. Like, it's just like what they've done to, like, Star Trek Diversity Discovery. You know, they slap Star Trek onto something that isn't Star Trek, and they're just taking Lord of the Rings onto something that isn't Lord of the Rings. And if you just take it, going into it like I did, open mind, I'm just going to see if it's a good fantasy show. No, it was fucking shit. So if you haven't got a subscription to Amazon Prime and you were thinking of getting one so you could watch this show, don't. Save your money and instead, like, rent on demand a decent movie or something, or just save your money. Just terrible, absolutely terrible. Couldn't believe it. I could not believe what they spent $500 million, whatever. You know, you know, there's countries that have a GDP less than that. Send the money to them. Would have done much more good. And send the crew filming what they're doing with the money. That'd be much more interesting to watch. By far. Yeah. So, I saw a little bit of the Critical Drinkers review, only a little bit, like, but someone on Super Chat said, what would you rate it out of 10? And straight away, I thought to myself, a 4 at the most. And then, do you know what? He was like, I can't really give it more than a 4. And that's being generous. And like I say, I already thought that. I was like, yeah, 4, very generous, you know. So it's under 5, so it's on a scale of 1 to 10, you know, 5 being in the middle, the average, it's below average, isn't it? And that's the standard set today. Yeah. Anyway, people, thank you for listening. Hopefully I seem more awake and with it than I did on my previous one. Like I said, I was just so tired. And like I say, I'd not long finished watching episode 2, so that didn't help either. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. Hopefully you're all good and well, and may peace be with you.